Right. Okay, we are live. Hey, everyone. Thanks for being here live on a Wednesday evening, or if you're watching this replay, then it could be anytime, any moment. But we're talking about coffee stations in the kitchen. I can't wait to dive into this one because coffee is something that's near and dear to my heart and probably near and dear to many of your hearts as well. And so we're going to dive into this right away. If you're watching this for the first time live, welcome and thanks for being here. And if you're a newer subscriber to my channel, I really appreciate it. And thanks for that also. When you jump in, make sure you hit the thumbs up and get into the chat. Say hi to everyone, ask a question, answer a question, become part of the community. It's an awesome time here on the live. So we're going to jump into this right away. We want to talk about the coffee stations. And the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to jump into this, is share my little slide presentation for y'all. All right, so let's just go here. And in a little while, I will jump myself into the chat and read through, answer questions, talk to you guys. I want to jump through this right now and get this going so that you replay viewers don't have to listen to me babble on too much. So coffee station ideas. Let's just go right here right now. So number one is this: coffee is king in the kitchen. So let's just talk about coffee stations. First, I want to run through the rise of the popularity of the coffee station. We're going to talk about 10 factors to consider when you are wanting to design a coffee station into a current kitchen or renovation, a new build, or whatever. Then we're going to look at a particular type of coffee station, run through the pros and cons of that. Then we'll look through a whole bunch of other options for coffee stations. So hopefully this will be a jam-packed live stream for us, and we'll see how it goes. All right, let's go. So, we're going to talk about coffee culture. Hold on, just give me a second here. Like, I had trouble with my notes and my camera and stuff. So, yeah, I think we're going to get into it. All right, here we go. So coffee culture, I just got some notes. We're going to talk through this. So one of the reasons for the rise of the popularity of coffee stations, we're going to run through, I think there's 5 or 6 of these, and maybe you fit into one of these things. But number one is coffee culture. So just bear with me as I read here my notes. The third wave coffee movement, which emphasizes high quality artisanal coffee. So that's something that we see more and more of. Friends of mine own a coffee house, and they call it a third wave coffee house or whatever, or coffee shop. I'm not sure what third wave actually means, but that's definitely one of those things. Increased awareness and appreciation for coffee origins, bean varieties, and brewing methods. I mean, you can talk to some people and their level of knowledge on the bean is, way up here. I'm not so much. I just want a good black cup of coffee. I'm pretty easy to please, but that's something that leads to this. The availability of premium beans from around the world, encouraging experimentation at home, and a desire for more refined and flavorful coffee experience beyond the traditional drip coffee. So people are investing in quality coffee machinery, equipment, and accessories for their homes. So this is one of the reasons that this trend of the coffee station is becoming even more and more prevalent. I mean, coffee's always been part of the kitchen, but it seems like I do see a lot more of the built-in coffee or coffee station, with the rise of all the espresso machines and all the different things that you can buy. So that's the first one that leads to the trend of the coffee station in the kitchen. The second one, if I can get to the right screen, is convenience. So streamlining the coffee making process by having all your coffee making accessories in one handy location. So this is one of the reasons: reducing the need to search for coffee supplies scattered throughout the kitchen. I mean, that maybe depends on how organized you are overall, but generally speaking, the convenience of a coffee center is very good, and saving time in the morning or whenever by having a dedicated coffee station. So these are some of the reasons why people opt into having something dedicated for their coffee. The next one is kitchen remodeling. So as kitchens become, remodeled, and more people are remodeling their kitchens, then it is inevitable that those same people who love coffee want to now have that into their new kitchen. So incorporating coffee stations as part of a kitchen renovation to meet specific needs and preferences of coffee enthusiasts, or just, I mean, I'm not a coffee enthusiast, but I mean, I want a coffee centralized somewhere in my kitchen. Customizing the design and layout of the coffee station to seamlessly blend with the overall kitchen aesthetic, which is something that I get asked a lot of with online clients, is that they want to put in a coffee station in their kitchen and they want it to be part of their design. And ensuring that the coffee station is integrated into the workflow for added convenience. So we talk about workflow in the kitchen a lot. We talk about the different types of workflows, whether that be the kitchen triangle or the workflow between the microwave and the fridge and whatever. Well, the coffee station is also a workflow work center that a lot of people do want in their kitchen. Home work and remote work. So with the rise of remote work, and I know this personally, obviously a lot of us were working at home during the pandemic. I was, and now I work at home pretty much. That's all I do now. So as more and more people work from home, they seek to create functional and comfortable workspaces within their residences, and maybe they're just drinking more coffee because they're home. It's easy. I don't know. I drank a lot of coffee when I was at the workplace too. Uh, but whatever. The coffee station within the home office work area provides quick access to coffee, promoting productivity and focus, or it could be a distraction. It also offers a pleasant break from work and the opportunity to enjoy a freshly brewed cup of coffee without leaving the home office, which could just be your kitchen table. These are all some of the things that make it so that there's a rise in this trend of the coffee station. Now, also customization. So there is just a wide range of options when it comes to the coffee station and coffee makers in particular. So from a pour over right up to a built-in $7,000 coffee machine there and everything in between. There's a lot of options out there, a lot of accessories, a lot of depending on how into the weeds you want to get with coffee making, with the grinding and just all that stuff, then there's something for everybody. And so, because of those availabilities, because of those options, people are opting to include the things that they like into their kitchen design. And they're able to do that because it's so easy to do that. And entertaining, having a coffee station can be very beneficial for guests and just maybe just for your family. But if you are big on entertaining, you're very social, you have people over all the time, or maybe just family functions, having a centralized place where the coffee is at that people can go to, that's not within the kitchen space necessarily, but it's kind of its dedicated thing, can just make your kitchen a little more easier to use for everybody. And it's kind of one of those things that you know like, I got a coffee station. I mean, look at me, right? I don't know. I think for a lot of us, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm wrong a lot, but for me personally, our coffee maker is used more than our microwave. And so, it would stand to reason that we would invest more money into a coffee maker, which we didn't, than we did into our microwave. But it was vice versa because for some reason, many of us are still very hung up on having a microwave in the kitchen. But for a lot of people, the option of having the coffee station might be a better thing if you had to choose one or the other. And of course, you need the microwave, I guess, to get your coffee hot after it cools down. So I guess you need to have both, maybe. But so those are just some of the reasons to this rise of the trend of having a coffee station and why people think it's necessary in their home. So beyond where it used to be, you would have your coffee station would just be your percolator, tucked in the corner of your kitchen somewhere, and that was it. Now, as we integrate this into design, it becomes a whole element of a kitchen. Let's talk about the coffee center now. Let's move on from this to let's really dive into nailing down the coffee center. And I think it's cool. I think it's great. Whatever you want to put in your kitchen, if you appreciate coffee, and this could be a tea center. I'm sorry for all you tea lovers out there. I love tea too, but generally speaking, we don't see a lot of tea stations, though it could be, I mean, maybe we do, but the coffee station is definitely this, thing that's very, very prominent in a lot of kitchens. That being said, I should go get a coffee because why are we talking about coffee? And I don't even have one in front of me. So would you just excuse me for 1 second, and I'll go get a coffee. Did I just screw that up? Oh my goodness. Okay, there's no sound. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna do that whole thing over again. Trying to make it look like I'm going to get a coffee. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Let me just redo this. Let's get some sound going on this baby.
Since we're talking about
All right,
coffee
let's see. See you
stations in the
later.
kitchen, I thought I'd show you exactly how I prepare coffee in our kitchen. It's pretty simple. We don't have a percolator, we don't have a fancy built-in thing, we don't have pullouts, we don't have Keurig. We basically have this cheaper version of a Chemex pour-over type of coffee. I got this at Canadian Tire for like $30, and it really does the trick. Basically, you boil water, pour it in. Bob's your uncle. First thing you need to do is boil water. Okay? While you're waiting for the water to boil, then we put the coffee into the, what do you call this thing? Filter? Is this a filter?
Yes.
Okay, we put the coffee into a filter. Usually 2 teaspoons, tablespoons, spoons, and then a little bit. Then once the water is boiled, the pour over begins. And it's a precise process because you have to pour the water at a particular velocity. I don't know if that's true or not, but we just pour the water in, it makes the coffee. Then I have to pour this beautiful cup of coffee, and I always like to pour it into my Ember mug because it keeps my coffee at the exact temperature that I want it to be at. And now that that's finished, I will rejoin you on the live stream. Oh, but first I have to pour a cup for Amy, or I'll be in big trouble, mister.
Okay. I got my coffee. I even wore the same shirt. I tried to make that look so cool. Anyways, I hope you appreciated the work I went through to make that little video. Anyway, I do have my coffee now. This is a brand called Legend from Costa Rica. Oh my goodness. It's so late. I shouldn't be drinking this, but I'm going to. All right, everyone. Let's go. Let's move on. Sorry I had to do that to you. Man, I can't believe I didn't have the audio on. All right, let's do this. Let's keep going with this. So let's talk about some key factors here, and I'm just going to bring my notes up. Hope you don't mind me reading these because I can't memorize everything. So these are the things to think about if you are wanting to put in a coffee station into your kitchen. What do you need to consider? What are the options? I mean, other than just putting a percolator or what I have on your countertop, if you want to go big and do something, these are the considerations that you should be thinking about. So number one is the size and the layout of your kitchen. And let me just talk through this. So consider the size and the layout of your kitchen. Some options like the built-in or wall-mounted coffee stations, they may require more space and specific configurations, while others like a freestanding cart are more adaptable to different kitchen layouts. So, I mean, obviously within the layout of your kitchen, you might not have a place for a coffee station per se, especially for a built-in or something that's more specific, because it might be that you just don't have that amount of room because for a coffee center built in, you probably need 24 to 30 inches of space. Usually that's put into some kind of pantry. Or if you have an espresso machine or something more elaborate that just needs a little more space, you might not be willing to give up. And it might take up counter space. It might take up with something within a cabinet. So you really need to consider that in your kitchen layout and whether or not it's something that you can afford in terms of spending space on it, not necessarily money, but you have to be able to spend the amount of space that you need to fit that thing. And so that's something you definitely should be considering. Now, some kitchens, it just has a some layouts that I see. There's just an obvious spot for a kitchen centered, coffee station. It could be a nook. It could be something like that, where a coffee station would just, go in there and they got to put something in there so it looks like a great spot for a coffee station. So kitchen layout is definitely something to consider. And then next on our list is the electrical and plumbing. So depending on how elaborate you want to go with your coffee center, then you have to think about, you have to get water to that thing. Maybe. Well, you do if it's a built-in. And you have to have electrical. And so if it's something that's going to be inside, let's say an island or, something like that, then it has to be considered with this. So just consider those things. And And having it plumbed is really good, or having it close to water is good. So sometimes also a little, prep sink can be included in an area like that so that water is close by. Because all those coffee machines, you have to get water too. And so you're bringing it over. It's just another added task. So having water close by is a real good thing to consider when you're thinking about the coffee center. Let me see. La, 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 la. All right, let's do this one. Aesthetics and design cohesion. So think about how your chosen coffee system will fit in with the overall design and style of your kitchen. So not just the layout, but the actual style. Some options like open shelving or freestanding carts offer more room for decorative elements, while built-in options can be integrated seamlessly. So there's a lot of options to include coffee stations into your kitchen that can also coincide with the actual design style that you're going with. So having a super modern coffee station with a very rustic kitchen obviously wouldn't work. But I think coffee is one of those things where we can integrate that pretty seamlessly into almost any type of design, but you do have to think about how you're going to do that. Number two, or number whatever this is, this is four, is budget. Consider your budget for creating coffee station. Built-in or custom designed options tend to be obviously more expensive just due to the installation and customization costs of those items. Of course, freestanding percolators on a shelf or in a kitchen, a little nook somewhere, can be more budget friendly. The built-in coffee makers can be $4,000 to $7,000, maybe more. The ones that I've seen, tend to be around the $4,000 mark, $4,500. So that's a lot of money to be investing into a coffee machine in your kitchen. I figured it out to be about, a $5 coffee. I mean, check my math. I'm not sure, this could be wrong. Like every day for 2.5 years to pay that thing off. So you got to weigh out those options. Is it something that, is a factor for you or not? The next one is maintenance and cleaning. So each coffee station has options that might require different maintenance, setups. So consider how easy or challenging it will be to clean and maintain your chosen setup, especially if you use it frequently. You know that I use my coffee thing every day. I call it it's a coffee thing. It's sometimes, you've seen the video. It's a pour over type of thing. Very easy to clean. You scrub it out every day with some soapy water and you're good to go. However, if you have an espresso machine or a built-in coffee maker, or even just a percolator, I mean, our old percolator just gets so dirty, if you don't stay on top of it. So, and I hate cleaning those things. They're hard to clean. And so that's one of the, I mean, not the reason, but one of the reasons we went with just the pour over, because it's just so much more convenient. Let me take a sip. Leyenda. So think about maintenance and cleaning when you're doing it, because it's an added step. You're adding this in, so it's definitely something to consider. Family and guest needs. Well, think about the preferences and needs of the family members and guests. A central location like a kitchen island or a wall-mounted station may be more convenient for serving coffee to others, while a pantry or hidden cabinet setup might be more suitable for personal use. This all comes down to, what matters, I guess, for you and your family and the functionality of your kitchen when it comes to coffee, and how important is it that guests are able to access that coffee easily, or other family members, without getting into the depth of your kitchen, and it could be unnecessary. Like I say about refrigerators, let me just jump back. They can be located in an area of a kitchen where everybody in the house can have easy access. And I think a coffee station is much the same. So instead of burying it in your kitchen, if you want other people to easily get at it, then it should be somewhere where they can get at it and not buried in. So that's kind of just common sense design. But if with the kitchen triangle, with the refrigerator, we sometimes think that it needs to be buried in a particular place because it obeys the law of the kitchen triangle. Where if we just went outside the box a little bit and made it more accessible to everyone, then it would be more functional overall. And the coffee station, I think, is a similar idea to that. Hope that makes sense. So family needs and guest needs. All right, let's hit up this next one. Coffee equipment compatibility. Ensure that the coffee equipment that you plan to use fits within your chosen coffee station, and check the dimensions of space available for your coffee maker, grinder, and other accessories. So not only do you have a coffee maker, but you could have a grinder, and you might have a bunch of different coffees, or I don't know, you might have a little sugar bowl, or you have some honey. Do you put honey in coffee? Whatever it is that you do with your coffee. Do you have the room to store all those things in an organized way, in an efficient way, in a functional way to make your coffee station make sense? And also, if you are going with something that is more built in, it's another appliance that really needs to be measured correctly and fit within that space. Nothing worse than having an appliance that needs a specific cutout not fit that specific cutout. That's not really up to you unless you're just DIYing your kitchen renovation. But for me as a designer and for my installers, that can be a nightmare situation because the client is not happy that their appliance doesn't fit when it should fit. So just another thing to consider. And let's see, what else do we have here? Next is this, storage needs. So not only are you storing, again, the coffee machine, but there's a lot of other things. So you have to make sure that all the coffee related items, some setups offer more storage space than others. So consider the quantity and variety of supplies that you regularly use. And this goes without saying, obviously, this would come down to that step in the kitchen design process where you're just cataloging the items that you have. I have a mixer, I have I have a Vitamix, I have, these blenders, I have whatever, I have a coffee maker, and all those things need to be stored. And along with these things, the coffee maker comes with a bag of coffee or a jar of coffee. It comes with all that other stuff, and making sure that you have appropriate storage needs. So you're not all over the kitchen. And that just comes down to, again, common sense design, and it's part of the design process, but something that you definitely need to be considering when you're designing these things. All right, next one is lighting. Lighting goes without saying in any kitchen, but lighting can be crucial for a coffee station, especially if you want to focus on precision brewing. Hello. Consider whether your chosen location has sufficient natural or artificial lights. If you're into precision brewing, then you definitely need to have some lights, but also it's good just to have lights in a specific task-oriented area of your kitchen in general. So, your sink, your range, your workstation prep area, and your coffee station should have appropriate lighting, as other areas should as well, so that you can see what you're doing, whether or not you are precisely brewing your cup of joe. And, I obviously am not a precision brewer, but it's still nice to see what you're doing. So consider that. Let me take a sip here. Okay, and the 10th one is this, which really is, the end all here is personal preferences. Ultimately, your personal preference and lifestyle should play a significant role in your decision, considering how you like to prepare and enjoy your coffee and which setup aligns with your routine. You could be pressured into putting in a coffee nook that doesn't suit, sorry about my camera, that doesn't suit, oh, looks like I unplugged my camera. Oh, that's just great. Hold on, everybody, while I fix my camera thing here. This is not, it's not performance. Let's switch to FaceTime. Hopefully you can see me now. I got nothing. All right, well, let's just bring this up. Full screen. All right, so I'll just go without my camera for a second until I can figure out how to fix that. Ultimately, it comes down to how you like to enjoy your coffee and which coffee setup works best for you. So yeah, you can get pressured into getting a coffee station that doesn't really suit your needs because you think maybe you need to, or you think that it's the trendy thing to do. So just be careful with that, of course. making sure that you get what you actually need, what you like, and not just doing something because you think you need to do it. My camera is completely shot and will not turn back on. So that is not good. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing here. All right, let's go on to this one, and hopefully I'll get a camera at some point in this live stream. Built-in coffee system. So this is the one that we want to talk about the most because it is the one that requires the most amount of effort when it comes to the design and the layout and the price and the functionality and the electrical and the plumbing and the dedication to, having something like this is a little bit more. So the built-in coffee system is what we want to talk about. And the first thing that we are going to mention here, and I'm still working on this camera, so just as I'm in between sentences, let's see if I can get this working, is, here's another one here if you're not sure what these are. So it's built into your wall. Got all the pretty buttons on there. And these are quite a bit expensive. And there's another beautiful one here. You can see just gorgeous looking machines. And how dare you, Phil? How dare you? Jackie, do something about this guy. Gorgeous looking machines, but they have pros and cons. Let's talk about them. All right, here's the pros. Let me do one more stab at my camera, and then we'll carry on. So convenience, number one. And okay, I'm just trying to get this stupid camera going. Why did this happen to me right now? Let's see if I can get my FaceTime. Nothing. Everybody, I'm leaving the live stream. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hey, we're back. Oh, there's a FaceTime camera. That's beautiful looking view. I think my other camera works now. It's a little bit funky. Let's go with it. All right, everybody. My apologies. That's a little blurry. We'll make it work. All right, close enough. Oh, it's so blurry. All right. Now I just got to go get my slides back. This is the stuff you have to deal with when you're working live. Just stuff happens, so you just roll the punches. No big deal. Thanks for your patience. I appreciate y'all. Let's just jump down to the slide that I want to go to. We already seen that one, of course. Here we are with the pros. Oh, that's this one. All right. Convenience. Now, if you just hang with me for a second while I get these notes back up. What a ride. Okay. I need a sip of coffee. Can we just take a minute here while I sip my coffee and deal with all the pressure of this? Okay. The replay value on this is horrible, but it just is what it is. This is just for us. All right, let's go. Convenience, people. Built-in coffee systems offer unparalleled convenience. They are integrated into your kitchen, which means you can easily access your coffee maker without taking up additional counter space. So that's one of the pros of these very expensive items if you're thinking about going this way. Don't let the price deter you, of course. Price is really dependent on what you think it is worth. It really comes down to value. And if having this is valuable, then it's valuable. I just want to go through the pros and cons of these, and then we'll look at some of the other types that are there. Aesthetic appeal is the next thing we want to look at. And oh my goodness, what is wrong with me today? I should have had my coffee earlier. It would have been way more prepped for this, I guess. Want to watch that video again? I think I just might play that again. Okay, aesthetic appeal. So these systems are often designed to seamlessly blend with your kitchen decor, adding a touch of elegance to your space. So they look very professional. They're built in, they look really beautiful. So with a built-in steam oven or a built-in, any type of appliance, this is another type of, it just has a particular look that many people like. You know, it's interesting because I'm just going to do what I want now. We'll go back to this. I was so excited for this live stream, and then my camera stopped working. Who cares, right? All right, let's keep going. I just thought it was a good one. I was really excited about my little video. I don't know. I'll play the video again for you who missed it and don't want to go back and find it. We'll look at it again. Okay, let's look at the next, which is customization. So many built-in coffee systems allow for customization of coffee strength, brewing temperature, and serving size, ensuring that you get your coffee just the way you like it. So with me, with my little ember mug here and my pour over coffee, honestly, like we get it pretty good most of the time, but sometimes we just make a dud cup of coffee, and it is what it is. If you want the perfect cup every single time, these can, allow you to do that. Plus, you have the option of all the other things that you can make with it if you just don't want regular old black coffee like I like. I'm just not into cappuccinos and all those other things. So that's just me. The next thing is consistency. High quality built-in coffee systems often provide consistent brewing results, which can be essential for coffee enthusiasts who appreciate a consistently great cup of coffee. The word consistent is in here a lot. I'm sorry. Which is sort of similar to customization. So the customization allows you to have consistency, basically. It's one of the pros. And the other thing is space saving. Maybe it's space saving. So when it comes to these built-in coffee machines, and let's just jump up to the picture here that you can see it a little bit better. This picture here. So when it comes to these things, they do take up quite a bit of space. That's probably 24 to 30 inches. I can't really tell by this picture. Someone might have, I think it's around 24 inches wide. So you have to have that space available for that and be willing to sacrifice maybe the countertop that could be, or the extra storage where that is going to be installed, as opposed to having the coffee machine. And if it's in a nook like this looks to be, it looks beautiful. It's well designed. You have your shelves with your, looks like marshmallows. Who puts marshmallows in coffee? But they're probably brewing a hot chocolate, which you have the option to do with one of these things. So I think you have to really consider that it could be space saving, or you're spending space on the unit that you otherwise could use for something else. So there's always a little bit of a trade-off when it comes to these things. Now let's just jump over. Let's just go back to the cons. And the cons are cost. These things cost a lot of money. And if you are budget conscious, then it might be something that is not in the budget, or you have to sacrifice something else. I mean, like I said, these things cost $4,500, $7,000. I've seen one for. It could be more. Who knows? There could be a lot more, actually. But to me, an appliance that costs $4,500 is a big investment. Like, to me, it is. And to someone else, it might not be that big a deal. So it's really dependent. So that's just something to consider. For a lot of homeowners, it is maybe outside the budget for an appliance. It's kind of a specialty appliance, and some of us don't have that extra money for specialty appliances where it could go into a countertop or something else in the kitchen. Limited options, when it comes to all of the options that we have for, the look and the style of coffee brewing, this built-in thing is limited in that regard. It's built in, it has one basic look. They all basically look the same. And so that's what you have. If you find it difficult to design something like this into your preferred style, then that could be a problem. And if so, you might want to choose a different type of option. Maintenance. These cost a lot of money, and I'm assuming that maintaining them, if they're broken, could cost a lot of money as well. And then, of course, just keeping them clean and all that other stuff that goes along with it. So just something to consider as one of the cons. Now, it might not be that big a deal. There's always, with pros and cons, a little bit of, well, is it really a pro or a con? It's dependent on the person. This is kind of just overall. And also, these machines could require like professional maintenance if something goes wrong with them, which is an added expense again. Now, the resale value of your home could be affected because maybe not everyone wants a dedicated coffee station. Now, you'd think, who would want this beautiful coffee machine in their home? You just don't know. Someone walks into your house and you're trying to sell it, and that could be the thing. They're like, well, I don't like that. Now, could that break the sale of the house? I don't know, maybe, but it could affect the resale value of your home. I mean, I had, you all seen, let's just talk for a minute. You guys, most of you seen my video, or I put pictures on of the kitchen that I'm renovating right now. How's that focus? Is it okay? That I'm renovating right now. And some people comment and said they liked the original kitchen better, that I shouldn't be taking it out. I was like, really? Okay, well, I mean, that's great because I'm I'm glad that we all have our likes and dislikes. And someone just might not like a coffee station. So all good. Size restrictions. So again, these come in particular sizes, and you need a particular size cabinet to fit it in. And if that's the case and you don't have that, then um, I don't know who it was, Trina. I just seen that comment come up. But that it's great. I mean, it's all good. So if you don't have this particular space, or you want something smaller, I mean, for us, our thing just doesn't take up anything. I can just put it in a cabinet. It doesn't really matter. So I think it's just important to understand that this takes up particular amount of space, and the cabinet that goes with it is, has to be a particular size. And there could be a trim kit, and there could be other things to factor in along with that. So, and dependency. This doesn't mean that you'll be coffee dependent. It means that because if this thing is so specialized, these built-in units, that if one breaks, you could be without your coffee system for some time. Now, I'm sure if you're that invested in coffee, you probably have a backup system. You probably have an old pour over, an old percolator somewhere that you can get your coffee. So I'm sure it's not that big a deal, but it is one of those cons that we want to talk about. Now, before we get into the rest, let me just have another sip here. So good with the Ember mug. It just keeps it perfect temperature. Not sponsored. Let's look at that video again, in case you all missed it. And I thought it was funny. It was a good attempt anyway. Here it is.
Since we're talking about coffee stations in the kitchen, I thought I'd show you exactly how I prepare coffee in our kitchen. It's pretty simple. We don't have a percolator. We don't have a fancy built-in thing. We don't have pullouts. We don't have Keurig. We basically have this cheaper version of a Chemex pour-over type of coffee. I got this at Canadian Tire for like $30, and it really does the trick. Basically, you boil water, pour it in. Bob's your uncle. First thing you need to do is boil water, okay? While you're waiting for the water to boil, then we put the coffee into the, what do you call this thing? Filter? Is this a filter?
Yes.
Okay, we put the coffee into a filter. Usually 2 teaspoons, tablespoons, spoons, and then a little bit. Then once the water is boiled, the pour over begins. And it's a precise process because you have to pour the water at a particular velocity. I don't know if that's true or not, but we just pour the water in, it makes the coffee. Then I have to pour this beautiful cup of coffee, and I always like to pour it into my Ember mug because it keeps my coffee at the exact temperature that I want it to be at. And now that that's finished, I will rejoin you on the live stream. Oh, but first I have to pour a cup for Amy, or I'll be in big trouble, mister.
All right, there you go. I had a lot of fun with that. Anyways. All good. All right. So the next thing we want to chat about, why don't I jump into the chat for a few minutes, just see what's going on. Then we're going to look at some other coffee stations that are available. We'll look at these and get our opinions on them. And listen, thanks so much for just putting up with my tech issues tonight. Again, the replay value of this is diminished, but it's cool that you're hanging out with me during all this because just the way it goes. Sometimes things don't work, like my camera. I would like to say that if you have a question a little bit later, I'll ask you to ask that question, put a few question marks in front of it. If you have something specific that you want to ask me about, you can do that. Otherwise, there's lots of people in here that can answer your questions. But Paul has a question right away. What about a hot water faucet? That's a cool thing. I guess, hey, if you like your kind of instant ready mix type of coffee, what do you call that stuff? Just instant coffee, I guess. That would be a good option. I think having a dedicated hot water faucet in any kitchen is a good idea. So that's really, really good. All right, let's jump into some of these, and I'll put this one up. So let's just look through a few different options that that are available to us. And we've seen all these, but let's just have a look at them, see what our favorites are, and maybe you'll get an idea for your coffee. So, the classic Keurig or pod coffee maker, if you will. Here, let's just fix that so I'm a little bigger. Just on the countertop, easy, cheesy. The only issue with these I find is I don't know. I don't know what any issues are. I guess they're great. Are you guys into the pod coffee? Let me know in the comments here, in the chat or in the comments. Are you into just pod coffee makers? Are they good? Do they make good coffee? My buddy Rob has one I've had, and it's pretty good. But you have to fill it up, and you spill water, and that's the nuisance part of it, the filling it up, and it gets kind of dirty if it's not cleaned all the time. Thanks, man. I do. I love doing live streams. I just think it's so much fun. And because of that, I hate it when things go wrong. Tisha, hey, Tisha, sorry if I say your name wrong, my apologies. Thinking of taking an IKEA Kallax, and hacking it to make a cheap yet hopefully tasteful coffee bar. I don't see why you couldn't. Those Kallax have a lot of options for hacking. I think you could go for it, and then integrate it into your IKEA kitchen. Is that what you're doing? Because that could be easily done. Go for it. Send me a picture of it. I like that idea. I like the idea of just taking something that is not meant for that thing and making it do that thing, which I think is cool. So good on you for trying that. So here's the Keurig pod coffee maker. I'm getting some things here that Darlene's saying no to the pod coffee, not my favorite. Oh, one-use environmental waste. There you go. Oh, some pods are biodegradable. And I've seen those ones that are reusable, which again is just, you got to go and clean that thing. Not pod coffee. All right, so we're getting some no's for pot of coffee. You can put a smart outlet, turn it on at the time you want it. That's a good idea. Yeah, having coffee ready for you is a good thing. Pod coffee, absolutely no. All right, pod coffee maker is convenient for a variety of hot drinks you can easily make. So some yeses, some nos. And I'm generally just not a pod coffee person. Now here's this is pod coffee again, but this is more of the way it's presented, which is inside a cabinet on the pull-out shelf. So this could be a percolator. This could be an espresso machine. It could be any one of those types of things. This is another, I like the pull-out shelf idea that it sits on so that it's, it's not tucked inside this cabinet that your head's going to bump into. So I actually like this idea, whether or not it's pod coffee or just a percolator or whatever. It could just be a pour over in there. So this is one of those things that I think is an interesting design feature and can work in many spaces. You could also, inset those doors, so that it looks like no, maybe they don't. Looks like they might push in and they're not. It kind of looks like they might, but regardless, I think they do actually. Anyway, regardless, this is a great way with the pullout. So as long as, that rail can handle the weight, which, those rails can handle a 100-pound test most likely. So I highly doubt your coffee machine is 100 pounds. If it is, that's a a big deal. And then the outlet, Jody's saying plan for an outlet in there, otherwise it's useless. So very good point. Make sure you do have which was one of those considerations we talked about plumbing and electricity. If you're going this route, you definitely want to make sure that you have an electrical outlet in there, and which is easy to do during the renovation phase, generally speaking. Not that easy to do once it's installed, and now you just have an extension cord running to your coffee machine after you pull it out. So, yeah. All right, let's go to this next one. Come on, Jackie. Stay on them. Got to stay on them with that like button. We got 40 likes. We're doing good. Okay, this is so a similar idea. This is a percolator. It also could be a pod machine as well. I think it's one of those maybe dual type coffee machines. They have the outlets there. It's not on a pullout. The door looks like a bifold that folds in, which is really cool. I like that. So that's just out in one big single door. And they have the shallow shelf so that you have more headspace. So this is a great way to do it too. If you don't want to pull out that unit, they also have a coffee machine above. Notice that there's also a meal coffee machine. This is a backup system. I mean, these people are like, we can't afford not to have coffee. So if this thing fails, we got the backup, and it's, in this beautiful little nook. So I will say this, with the headroom, this is a great way to do it. However, you have the opportunity in this cabinet to do something different other than just the finished wood, which would be in all of those cabinets. You can see all the holes for the shelving, which is just, it's all just standard shelving holes done on a CNC machine, comes from the manufacturer that way. Sure, it's adjustable, but you have the opportunity to do something a little more interesting inside there. That's just my opinion. Has nothing to do with the coffee. Just another way to do it. But if you do have something like this, think about that. What can I do to make this even more special for this beautiful pod coffee machine? Now we're talking about the coffee cart. This is great for maybe a small space, or you just like the look of this kind of thing. If you are into the pod coffee, which seems to be a lot of these people are, then, which not a lot of us are, but a lot of these pictures are, this is kind of cool when you think about it. Pop the pod in. Okay, you still got to get the water. It's still got to be plugged in. But this is an old house too, because the outlet's in the baseboard. But it's convenient. It's out of the way. It could be a small kitchen. Pop the cup in there, hit the button, your coffee's done. No fussing about it other than just getting the water and plugging that in. But it's a cool look and something that you can consider as an option for your coffee station. If you want to have one, but you don't have room in your kitchen to build something in like that, you don't have the counter space available, but you do have something like this, doesn't take up a lot of space, and you can style it appropriately to make it look, interesting. Yeah, right? Don't you love that chair? Really cool. I like it. Kind of makes the whole thing work to me. Okay, let's go to this next one, which is just fabulous looking. So these are not slide-in doors, and the coffee machine is not on a pullout. There's a pullout underneath for pods or spoons or whatever. And then, of course, you have your shelving. This is nice. I got to say, it's very nice. It would be nicer if it maybe pulled out, but in this type of machine, maybe you don't need to have that. And it looks like this might have water supplied to it as well, which would be a benefit. So very nice look overall. This takes up counter space, so it's something to consider with this type of unit, where the other ones were more built into a whole pantry. This is wall cabinet. It's a little deeper, it looks like, than the cabinets to the left. And, obviously it comes down. It looks like it could be 18 inches deep, maybe. And so the countertop in front of that generally is less usable when those doors are closed. And I'm assuming that this kitchen has lots of counter space, just judging by, the overall look of this little picture. And looks like there's an island there. So, Very cool. Very, very cool. Next one. This is interesting. I've had this in a video before, but this is an appliance lift normally used for a KitchenAid mixer or a mixer. And that would be also useful for a coffee machine. You can see that it's plugged in. So these would normally have a dedicated outlet inside of them for a mixer, stand mixer, but you could also use it for your coffee. So if you didn't have a counter space, but again, you'd still have to dedicate space in a kitchen in the cabinet for this. But I think this is a kind of a cool option also that you could work into your kitchen if you wanted to have something dedicated for coffee. And it's kind of cool if you just want to impress someone and be like, "You want a coffee?" And you're like, you lift it up. Look at me. So another cool, interesting way to do it. Hey, cool. Would you worry about steam inside a cabinet? That's a great question. Let's go back to that picture. Um, hmm. Yeah, that is a really good question with steam that I never thought about till you mentioned that. That could be an issue. That's why the pullout thing is good, or just having that space above it with the headroom, you know, might not be the best idea. And judging by how new this looks, over time, that could be a problem with that shelf. Other than that, I don't think it would be a major issue. As long as the doors are open, I don't think that would be a big deal. Just that shelf right above you know, could cause problems. But that's an interesting thing to point out. So let's move on. Okay, so that's a cool one. And this is just a coffee nook. The countertop is not as deep. This would be like more of the nook idea. So you have this space in your kitchen that's usable for something, and it might be just usable for something for your coffee machine. Again, not a lot of space, but you're using available space for this. So this would be like an extra thing that you'd put in your kitchen. You get the little coffee brew. I think they decorated this specifically for the picture. Maybe not. Get your hanging mugs and all that stuff. So it's just another interesting way to do it. And all of these things really, for me, when I look at pictures, it's a lot of it is to just get inspiration. If I'm thinking of putting a coffee machine somewhere, are there other ways to do it that I didn't think about, or are there other things I didn't think about, like the steam thing? Like there's always some things that can come up that you didn't think about or know about. So that's why I like to consider all these options. And this is more of a bar setup. So maybe you want to have that look of the third wave coffee house in your kitchen. And so this is a way to do it. So this will be set up on a separate bar, the open shelves, the whole vibe of a coffee shop look to it, but built within your space. Again, this has to go with the design aesthetic, the style of your kitchen. It probably wouldn't fit into every type of kitchen, but you could do something like this in different styles of kitchens. You just style this thing differently and design it differently. But this would be the whole, coffee center station. You got the muffins on there, and you have that, the backsplash, which is, that classic coffee house chalkboard look to it. So, definitely a thing that's a statement piece. So this isn't just about coffee. This is about the look of that. And I kind of think looks pretty cool. Look at those open shelves, right? Right? Is it okay here though? It's a coffee station. I don't know. In the tip jar. Yeah, that would be the perfect add to this tip jar. That'd be cool. And then here's just another built-in. Look at that beautiful. Because this is what I mean. You have the opportunity to make that really pop. I hate the word pop, but that's just the word that comes to mind. And other than just the finished interior of a cabinet, now you have something that's elegant looking. Depending on your design style, you could do it different ways. Picks up the countertop material. This might be the backsplash that's on behind the range or whatnot, and just well thought out. Again, just a simple, you know, I'm sure that this is not a coffee station. They're just like, I think I'll put my Keurig on there. This is very expensive to put a Keurig on, in my opinion. So, but maybe it is. I mean, it has a thing that says coffee on it. So, all right, let's go to this next one. This is beautiful, though. You could design this in such a way that, I mean, I just take it just like that. All right. Lastly, let's talk about this. What country drinks the most coffee per capita? I'll give you a minute to put your answers in the chat. Let me know what you think. Don't go Googling this. Come on. I know, Phil, you're like, I know you're Googling it right now if you're still on. You are. What country drinks the most coffee per capita? Put your answers in. Just take a guess. Don't Google it. Give me your honest, straight up answer. What do you think it is? And then we'll give you the answer in a second. Come on, put your answers in. Keep it going. If anyone gets the right answer, we'll give you a prize. I don't know. We'll give you a cup of coffee. Keep going. Keep them coming. All right. So someone got it right, and I just hope that you're not. Hope no one's. Someone got it right, and hopefully nobody is cheating. I trust you all. I trust that nobody's Googling and that you got it right. Keep it going, and we'll go through. We'll go through these. I gave you ample time to Google it. Okay, let's go. Before I reveal the answer, let's look at one of you's got it right. So, all right, we got Italy, we got Australia, we got Italy, US, we got Australia again, Ethiopia, Italy, Seattle. Well, Seattle's not a country, but that's a good guess. That's a good guess. It's not correct. I'll say that. It's not the USA. Hello from Sydney? Like Sydney, Cape Breton, Sydney? Spain, we got Finland. Finland? How do you say that? Spain. All right. France, Italy, Brazil, USA. All right. Tisha's onto something. Is it Tisha? Tisha. She's onto something. I'm just going to tell you. She's got a ton of Finnish friends who drink their coffee. And Vietnam, Canada. No. Well, it is definitely Finland. I don't know how you say it. Anyway, here's the thing. Finnish people have a strong coffee culture, apparently, and it's common for individuals to consume a significant amount of coffee daily. Coffee breaks, often known as kavitiko, probably saying that wrong, obviously I am, are an integral part of Finnish work and social life. So, Finland, you take the medal for the most coffee consumed per capita in the world. Isn't that interesting? I hope that was valuable to you if you are looking at designing a kitchen and putting in a coffee station into your kitchen, whether it be a nook, whether it be a built-in, whether it be a pour over or whatever in between, because I think it's an interesting thing to consider and something that we don't talk a whole lot about when we're talking about workflows, when we're talking about, kitchen design in general. It's almost like it's an afterthought for a lot of people. The coffee station, not the coffee maker or that, that's going to be in the kitchen, but designing it in a particular way. And of course, it comes down to a lot of factors, which we discussed, whether it be, is it worth dedicating a part of your kitchen to that, or is it better off that, you just plop it on the countertop and away you go. And that's where it comes to just personal preference and what you can do. But if you're going to go down the road of designing a kitchen and putting in a coffee center, then take some time to figure out exactly how you want it to look, how you want it to function, where it should be in your kitchen, how it's going to be integrated into the layout for functionality purposes and style for just aesthetic purposes, and how important it is to have something like that. I think it's a valuable thing to do if it's something that is valuable to you in your kitchen, of course. And then for others like myself, it's just, cheap pour over and away you go. My mug was more expensive than my coffee maker. But I got this on points, so it didn't cost me anything literally. But otherwise it would be. Still at 63 degrees. Let's just chat for a little bit, and I'm going to jump onto the comments here because I've been not looking at them, but we have a few minutes. So let's, if you do have a specific question about anything kitchen related, it doesn't have to be coffee maker, coffee station related, but if you're going through kitchen renovation or anything like that, definitely ask your questions now, and I can be a little more attentive to what's going on in the chat. And if you want to visit my website, you can, and do a one-on-one consultation. They are available, and I think at least they are really valuable. So not just me saying it. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm the one doing it, but just to get a second set of eyes on your kitchen plans, or to ask questions, or some people just say it's a sanity check. Then that's available if you want to do that. Or there's other design services as well. Johnny, hey, I just designed one with pocket doors. Why couldn't I think of the word pocket? Anyway, yeah, pocket doors, thanks. And a mini pot filler. Client wanted all the perks. That sounds cool, man. Johnny, let's get you on a live stream and chat about kitchen design. And there's others here. I know, Raymond's here, Jody. Anybody who's a kitchen designer, I'd love to chat with you, and that'd be cool. So if anyone's interested in doing that, if you are a kitchen designer in that business, reach out to me. It would be fun, and we can talk. I love this. I love the sound of that. Asia meeting. Wow. Jackie, you're the best. Happy belated birthday. All right. I remember a coffee station from one of your past videos where it was adjacent to the dining area. I'm planning this to save space in my kitchen, in my small kitchen. That is cool. Yeah. Sometimes they're not in the kitchen at all. Like, they're around the corner in a nook, which is also a great. I don't know if that's the thing, but that's one of those ideas where it's not necessarily right in the coffee or in the kitchen, but it's outside of that kitchen space, which can be very beneficial. Listen, if you are asking a question, put a few question marks so I can see it amongst everything else if you do want to. Diana, my coffee station is on a 36-inch by 14-inch deep Omar unit from IKEA. Prize component is a glass. Oh, holding my mother's 1950 stainless steel long coffee spoons, originally for iced coffee. That is cool. Yeah, so sometimes, you have other elements that are important to you. It's not even the coffee maker, but something like this, which would be more of an heirloom type of thing that you want to display. So that's really awesome. And doesn't take up a ton of space either. I'm creating a coffee breakfast bar next to my fridge, and it's all along a big wall in the dining room. I hate having toasters and microwaves, etc., on my kitchen counter. Right? Let's get rid of those things. Let's clean up the countertop so that we can use that space for other things like prep, or just it looks cleaner. And now, saying that, we keep our Vitamix on the countertop all the time, but it's just because we use that thing. Amy uses that thing and I use it too, but Amy uses it every single morning. And so it's just a little more convenient and for us. But there are other ways to design it so that those things aren't, in your face all the time. All right, let me just scroll through if you have anything, and there we go. We put a breakfast bar in our master bedroom, so we had it close by and convenient. Are you serious, Phil, that you did that? That's amazing. Well, there you go. If it comes, like I said, it's personal preference, and having coffee in your bedroom helps, then that's a good thing. And this isn't to take away from the coffee, the coffee house, coffee shop experience. You still go to coffee shops, but there's just this thing you just want to have after supper. I know we just want to have a cup of coffee, sit back and relax. And and get jittery. Edward says his coffee maker is his microwave. That's cool. For a lot of people, that's true too, unless you have one of these things, which is like, I don't know. I don't know how people can justify spending this much money on a mug, but it keeps your coffee at the right temperature and it connects to your phone, which is so cool. Definitely. I should get sponsored. Seriously Live, Fun Live. My favorite part of the week is Thursday morning, because you're in Australia, making my double shot of coffee and toast and joining you others empty gators. Helen, thanks so much. It is just a fun time for me as well, because I just enjoy it. Even with all the mistakes that happen, it's all just part of it. And there goes my camera. Hopefully I don't... Come on. Come back. Hey, there you go. Okay. So you want to head over to Timmy's. Timmy Ho-Ho's. I do not like Tim Hortons coffee. I know I shouldn't be saying that, but I just don't know what it is. Though, I gotta say, my buddy Rob made me a Tim Hortons, and I didn't know. It was like the Keurig kind. And I was like, oh, this is a great cup of coffee. He's like, it's Tim Hortons. I'm like, ah. Anyway. Yeah, our kitchen's all the way on the other side of the house. Well, that's a good reason you don't want to bug the kids. Pot filler is the best. Interesting. We could have a pot filler for our coffee station instead of a small sink. So, there you go. Yeah, that's what they say. I don't know. It's very popular, but I don't know. Whatever. I don't like it. I like McDonald's coffee, so I don't know if that's any better, but I kind of like it. Edward likes it too. I like McDonald's coffee, and I'll tell you what coffee I like. If I'm going to go buy a coffee, A&W. I don't know what it is. They make a great cup of coffee, so something about it that's really, really good. A&W. I don't know if you guys want me to recap any of this, but let's just slide back up a little bit here, and let's just go through some of these. Let's just have a quick look at some of these slides. Why don't we do that? So when you're thinking about the trends of coffee station, we said coffee culture was a huge contributing factor. We said convenience, and we said kitchen remodeling. We had the homework and remote work, which just makes you want to drink more coffee. We had customization, which is really, I think, a good key factor. And then entertaining. Here's the thing. I think on this list, the thing that is driving the most amount of people wanting to have it is, one, the kitchen remodeling, and just the fact that coffee is so prevalent now. All the different ways to, make coffee, grinding your beans, and people have grinders that they bring with them places. It's so central. I mean, I don't know, guys, if you guys remember the bulletproof coffee phase, which I think turned out to be kind of a scam, but you'd have coffee with grass-fed butter. I was really into that for a little while. I would drive 4 hours to get my grass-fed butter because he couldn't find it where I lived, just so I could put it in my coffee. Kind of crazy sounding, but that was a thing. Do you have any IKEA hacks for cool, budget-friendly coffee bars? I don't necessarily have any specific coffee bar hacks. I think what you're saying about the Calax is a good idea. Let me think off the top of my head, though. I'm just trying to think what IKEA has to offer in terms of, bulletproof coffee. Do you have... I think it comes down to what the design of your kitchen is, what the size of the coffee machine is, or the coffee maker is. I think having the pull out shelf unit, and if you could integrate that's a good idea. But and IKEA have those 15-inch deep cabinets, so if you don't mind hacking up cabinets, you could go with something like a fuller depth cabinet, hack it down to 18, put the rails inside of it, and do something like that. So there's ways like that, but that's not a IKEA specific idea. It's more like you could just do that with IKEA cabinets. So just take a fuller depth cabinet, cut it down, get the rails, have the shelf inside that pulls out. I don't know if you can do pocket doors with IKEA in any sort of way, but you can do probably, some kind of vertical door. I don't really have any specific IKEA hacks. That's a good idea. I should look up some and get a better answer for that. Yeah, bulletproof all the way. Yeah, I was really into it. Now I like coffee with a little bit of almond butter in the Vitamix. It's delish. A little bit of protein powder, chocolate protein powder. Beauty. Anything worth considering about under-counter water filters? Well, yeah, I mean, they take up a lot of space. Generally, there's a lot of unused space underneath your sink cabinet, or the least accessible space, or the least easy to use space. So, I think that's a pretty good, obviously place for it. It's under your sink, so that's where it should go. So do you have other items in there that take up space? Do you have a garburator or some kind of like food disintegrator machine in there, compactor, or do you have any kind of pullouts or anything like that? Other than just it takes up space, it's no big deal. I mean, go for it. I think it's a good thing to have. Not a big deal. Other than just the space it takes up. Super creamy, lactose-free almond butter. It's so good. Just a little bit. All right, you guys are awesome tonight. Thanks for being on so long. I'm gonna dip, as my kids say. I'm gonna dip. Give it a try. Little almond butter, little protein powder too, if you like. Figure it out. Mix the taste. I just bought some chocolate protein powder. Post-surgery coming up. Mix it in coffee. Sounds delicious. Yeah, my son has protein powder in his coffee every morning, and he loves it. I love it too. Just gives it a little bit of a hot chocolatey taste, or I don't know, whatever, something like that. Cafe mocha, if you will. This has been a fun live stream, everybody. I had a great time tonight, even with the camera defunctos, and I always look forward to Wednesday night. A lot of you come back week after week, and I really do appreciate you for doing that, because it's cool. I just am sitting here talking and to myself, but talking to you. The only thing cooler would be, I think, that if we could all have VR sets and just have avatars and see one another. That would be kind of cool. Maybe in the future we'll be able to do live streams like that, and if so, I'm on board. I think that would be awesome, because we can't all, for obvious reasons, be together in one space, but maybe someday in the future we can do that. Yeah, thanks so much. We'll be back again next Wednesday. This Saturday's video, I am going to be investigating some online, well, not online, apps that design kitchens, like on your phone. So you can just take your phone out, design a kitchen. We're going to kind of review some of those, and we could do that. Oh, do a Zoom or Teams. I could. That would actually be kind of fun. Wouldn't that be fun? Ooh, let's consider that for the future. Would that be interesting to do? Just a big Zoom call with all the live streamers during the live. Oh, wow, that would be fun. All right, everyone. Listen, have a great week. God bless you. Yeah. We'll see you next Wednesday. I got to go finish my coffee.